The Roz and Mocha Show. KiSS 92.5.
Guys, can you believe that this movie is the same age as me? How does that shock you in any way?
You're
Yes.
35?
So you were
I
like
am.
a zygote when we were
Right?
filming this?
Right? Yeah.
Your parents had sex after watching the movie.
Oh, or just before.
Just before.
Usually
That's right.
maybe it's after.
See, I haven't had sex since the 80s. So.
Okay, it's sex. And
I'm like, who's going to teach him this?
His wife is here. We'll talk to her later.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
How amazing is it that 35 years later, people are still loving this and dying to see this movie and want to celebrate it even more?
It is truly amazing. Obviously, when you make a movie, you always have hopes for it, and I was a little spoiled because at the Lampoon, everything we did in those days, back in the 70s, was successful. And Warner Brothers turned it down. The head of the studio told me, "You're wasting your time and will never make a movie." The head of Universal finally, I was in his office with Ivan, and he looked at us and he said, "I hate this movie." He said, "But if you guys, can you make this movie for less than $3 million?" And I had never made a movie, and Ivan had made 2 or 3 movies here in Canada for $12, $15, but and I looked at him and he shrugged. He didn't know, and so I turned to the guy, Ned Tannen, the head of the studio, and I said, "Absolutely, I guarantee you we can do it."
And
we
did you did it?
$2.8 million.
How cool is it that this is being honored here at the TIFF Lightbox?
It's great because this is 35 years. We did like 20, 25, and now we're in our 35. And Peter Riegert and I used to joke about that. We're going to be doing Animal Home reunions very soon. We'll all be pushing in here with our walkers.
We're going to have one for my 100th birthday. So.
Oh yeah, right, Maddie. No, it's so cool because we're ageless.
Of today's comedies, do you think that any of them sort of, look up to these films as sort of a stepping stone and pay homage to these?
I know they do, because I know people like Judd Apatow, who I know quite well, is a huge Lampoon freak. And, Ivan's still making comedies, and he, of course, is part of the Lampoon legend. Yeah. And many of the people, for example, the guys who wrote and produced The Simpsons for years, and one of them still produces it, were Lampoon editors. Many people from the top comedies of both television and film cut their teeth at the Lampoon. Larry David wrote for the Lampoon.
I love
Really?
David. I forgot about comedy.
Wow.
That's somebody to do.
Not a lot, but he wrote for it. And as I say, Ted Mann, who was an editor for years at the Lampoon, and he's written. He does a lot of HBO stuff, not comedy actually.
So you branch out from here, and you're still going to, have the roots
Ted,
from here.
He started with NYPD Blue, and then he did what was that cowboy picture on HBO, the series, Deadwood.
Oh,
Deadwood.
Yeah.
Who are we talking about?
Ted Mann.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
He was
loved
a
Deadwood.
Lampoon editor for years.
Yeah, Deadwood was
Many of the editors went on to do enormous things. And many of them went to Saturday Night Live, of course, because Saturday Night Live was the National Lampoon Radio Hour on television, and it was created by the late.
And a lot of
Michael
the people
O'Donoghue.
from Saturday Night Live were part of the Lampoon franchise, right?
The people.
Yeah.
The original, most of the original actors and writers on Saturday Night Live had worked for the Lampoon. Belushi, Gilda, Bill Murray, the writers, Ann Beats, all sorts, throughout.
Is there anybody that was supposed to be in this that didn't?
Well, I'll tell you, when I started to put the Broadway musical together, the first person I spoke to was Jack Black's agent.
Oh,
I thought he'd be great for Bluto, and he's a very good singer, too. And the manager, not his agent, his manager said, "Oh, boy, that's a great idea. Let me call you back." And he called me back the next day. He said, "Matty, I spoke to Jack, and he said he would do this except he would never follow John Belushi."
That's gonna be
He said that it would be suicidal.
Oh.
He said he feels that John Belushi was so incredible that he would not take a chance of following him in a movie. So, did I think of anybody? That was my first thought.
Yeah.
We haven't really started casting yet, but I've got some people in mind, but they're not well known. It's not, you would not know their names.
Let's end on this. Why don't you talk to your fans for a quick moment and people who have stood by this film for 35 years? What do you have to say to all of your fans?
Just, I think it touched everybody's heart. And, I think there's some touching moments in Animal House. You notice that the guys, razz me a lot, but they were never mean to me, and they supported me.
Mean, yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. Like
And
they
it wasn't mean-spirited.
Right.
And the guys were nice to me,
Yeah.
even though they were not nice to me, but
Yeah.
it kind of worked, And I just appreciate everybody acknowledging this, and it's fun to be in a film, up there like with the, Back to the Futures and
Gone
Animal
with the
House,
Wind.
and it's a cult film.
It really is.
I listen to ESPN radio a lot, and I hear them playing little blurbs all through the day with sports figures, and they're saying this is an Animal House in the locker room. And,
Can you sue over that?
I
Make a little more money?
We applaud them for that.
Yeah, fair enough. What do you want to say to your fans?
Well, I was just thinking what Stephen was saying. I was so happy when we made Mad Magazine. To me, that was sort of like the pinnacle. I said, okay, AFI Best List and, Library of Congress and Smithsonian, blah, blah, blah. But Mad Magazine, oh, my God. But I want to say to my fans, you got good taste. This is a fine film. And just keep watching it, And we're very happy that everybody's so pleased to enjoy a product that's lasted. What else can you buy that lasts 35 years and is still good?
Fair enough. True, right?
Yeah.
Not even a VCR.
Not in a washing machine.
Fair, yeah.
The Roz and Mocha Show. KiSS 92.5.